here I am with Mr. Tony LaRussa.
Tony.
Tony?
Please.
Okay. Very nice to meet you. First of all, congratulations on your 2011 World Series championship with the St. Louis Cardinals. Tell us about that. How was that? How did it feel, your third World Series championship?
It was a different one. I mean, first of all, they're all special in their own way. But that one, you know, when you get, I think it was 10.5 game with 32 to play, so it's a historic comeback. And then you get in on the last day of the year, and you're the underdog, and you beat 3 really good teams. I think more than anything, and it sounds a little corny, but our team had this tremendous will to win and never give up. And a lot of times, and we were right on the edge of that famous Game 6. We're in the 9th inning, we're down to our last strike, and then the 10th inning. But that was typical that whole last month to come back in the postseason. We were almost out, you guys never gave up.
It was an amazing series to watch and to follow. Now, how did it feel to announce your retirement just after the World Series?
That was awkward. I'll tell you why. It was such a time of great vibes. For example, you know, we won on Friday, Sunday, you have the parade and the rally. Monday morning, we're going to announce that I'm done. So when the rally is over, you know, you just spent the day in the parade and the rally with the guys, and we're all reliving the magical moment. And I mean, everybody's just big smile on the face. The families are there. And when the rally was over, I had to say, hey, get the guys together in our exercise room. And they all came in there, you know, they're laughing, and you know, they think I'm just going to say, hey, we had a great time together, enjoy the off season, and let's get them next year. In fact, they said we thought you were going to say repeat, and I used retire. So I had to drop the bomb on them, and most of them said good riddance. They were tired of me, but
Sure.
no, it was. I didn't like that part of it because, you know, I didn't want to rain on the parade. No other choice.
Was that something you already planned and had in the back of your mind?
I had managed consecutively for 33 years, and the last 2 or 3 years, I was always taught you gotta be very honest with yourself. That's where it starts. You know, you look at yourself and you do the best you can, and if you fool somebody, don't fool yourself. And I knew that the last 2 or 3 years, it was getting harder and harder for me to get to where I needed to be. And I just said, hey, it's time for a change. So about mid-season, I said, I think this is it. The way it ended was a fairy tale. My family, and even I think even our owner and general manager, who I'd confided in, they thought maybe I'd be changing my mind, but I didn't. I mean, my time was up. I was just very fortunate that it ended that way.
Yes. No, Tony, let's bring this to the very beginning. How were you exposed to baseball?
Well, that's part of the reason I wanted to come here, because when I was a kid in Tampa, Florida, you know, these are real simple times. If a young person like myself was encouraged to play, which my dad did, you could go to the city recreation park, especially during the summer, and spend all day. You had access to the fields, a bunch of guys there. They had to find a way to get bats and balls, and we'd play all kind of games. And over the years, it just seems like it's harder and harder for kids to have an opportunity to play a lot. And then there are some people, you know, there are these traveling teams and they play a lot, but as far as making the game available to bunches and bunches of people, bunch of kids, it's not like it used to be. And that's why I'm so much in favor of MLB being involved with these academies. I had heard about the one here in Compton. I wanted to see it for myself, and I've been overwhelmed. You know, it's a really nice facility, the kids and their attitudes. You know, now with Frank in charge and Don, you know, bringing Don on board, first-class men. One of my old teammates, Lorenzo Gray, is here from the White Sox. I saw a bunch of guys like Ken and Rod Carew was here. So giving the kids an opportunity to play, and it's like we talked about in the field. The better you play, the more fun you have. You know, if you miss every ball, if you never hit the ball, you know, pretty soon you get frustrated. But if you start playing well, then you start enjoying the game. Well, you got to be taught well to play the game well.
Do you see yourself coming out of retirement, seeing that you're re-exposed to the baseball world again?
I've been fortunate. The commissioner has given me a position with MLB. I do assignments I'm never going to manage again, but I like baseball. I love baseball. And, this is what I was taught. This is what I think I know. So wherever I can help and share, be pleased to do it.
So a year later, what has kept you busy not managing a baseball team?
Part of it was that because of being away from the game, I was able to, had an opportunity to write a book about the 2011 season. It's called One Last Strike. It's been received very well, and the publisher encouraged me and our ghostwriters, and I had a guy named Rick Hummel help me, and Gary Brozick, to expand the history of the game. Because I was taught by a bunch of people, so I wanted to make sure I give credit. So that took a lot of time, and then the assignments with MLB. I probably saw 120 games last year. So, and we, my wife and I, we started a foundation in Northern California. So I've stayed busy.
What type of foundation is that?
Well, it's the name of it's Animal Rescue Foundation, ARF. ARF.
ARF.
And we rescue companion animals, and we use some of the ones that with the right temperament to go out and rescue people. I mean, as far as they provide education for kids, victims of violence, hospitalized, seniors.
Wow.
Now we're working with veterans.
It's wonderful.
Animals are magical, and there's no medicine, there's no machines. It's just the beauty of the animal.
Definitely. I'm excited to grab a hold of your book and read it, and also look into the foundation. So it seems like, tell us about, I understand you also have a background in law. How did that come to be?
Well, I signed when I was out of high school. Graduation night, when I was 17 years old. And my mother wanted me to go to college. My dad and I wanted me to play pro ball. So I promised my mom, I said, they gave me a scholarship plan through baseball. I said, I'll get my education, which I did. I went to University of South Florida. And then I played. I played 16 years, most of it poorly, but I played. And when I realized I wasn't going to be a good player, make any kind of money and support my family, I started thinking, well, I like to read, problem solve, I'm going to go into law. And so I went to law school while I was ending my playing career. Florida State allowed me to drop out in time for the spring and summer, and I come back for the winter and fall. So by the time I finished law school and I passed the bar, I had a chance to manage. And my wife and I didn't have children at the time, so let's get out of the system. And I've caught every break in the world. The White Sox gave me a chance early on, and then the A's and the Cardinals. But I was going to be a lawyer after I realized I was a bad player. And then I got into managing, and I pay the dues, but I'm not a lawyer.
So having experience in law and education, as a baseball player and as a manager, how important is education that you can leave for the kids passing through this academy?
I think you got to learn before you can play, and whether it's learning how to play the game, if that's what you're trying to do, but if you want to play in the business world, whatever you want to do, you got to have an educational background. Nobody is smart enough instinctively. Stuff you need to learn. So one of the things about getting an education, you want to take some amount of discipline, because there are days you don't want to study, you have to study. And I think attitude is so important. If you have an attitude, and especially if parents or your mentors can bring the positives of learning and how you're better the more you know, and you have a different attitude about your studies, you'll see that this is not something I have to do, it's something you want to do because you see the benefits.
Now, is that the work ethics you see on the field and off the field?
I think a really good student is like a really good player. Nothing happens accidentally. I think one of my favorite things that I've seen over the years in professional baseball, these great players, and you see them play and you think, man, if you go to the park early and you see how much they work to get there, and then they're always tweaking and improving, you'll realize nothing's easy, but it's all worthwhile.
One last question. Do you own any pets?
Oh boy, yeah. We walk the walk and talk the talk. We have 2 daughters, and until recently they lived at the house. So they each had their dogs and cats, and we had our dogs and cats. One of the things we do is we foster. We get, there's dogs that are going to come into our program for adoption. So we'll bring them in and socialize them, get them ready. So at any one time, we'll have a bunch of cats and a bunch of dogs in the house, and we have a few of those our own. Our organization is an important point to make. The great majority of animals that come into our system, they come off of a list. It's called the A24 list, which means if you don't take them from wherever they are, the next day they're euthanized. So we save them 24 hours before they're euthanized, and we find them homes. So it's very enriching.
Wow. It's wonderful what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming back and helping the kids and just giving them a direction, a goal that they can see, that they can attain, achieve.
Well, today was just a visit. I mean, the real work's being done. The guys there all the time, but hopefully I'll come back a little more often. But you're a volunteer yourself. I mean, you're giving back. So these kids, I mean, the kids, they should be our investment, because everything that happens for somebody that was young, that grows up with opportunity and mentoring and make something of their lives. And unless they have those opportunities and those advantages, they're at a disadvantage. It's really not their fault. It's all of ours that could have done something for them. So I'm grateful that you're here volunteering, and I'll do whatever I can.